Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host Sean McGahee. In this show we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and Patreon. And you can contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Tuesday, guys. It is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in Austin, Texas. So nice. I actually went outside and did a little exercise. I like to exercise outside, so I'm glad that it's nice enough to where I can do that. For the last month or so, it's been kind of crummy or cold, so I haven't been able to do that. So I like to get outside, exercise, do my thing. Now, I did not do a show Friday last week like I promised, guys. I do apologize. I was a bit under the weather. This week, I'm planning for today, Thursday, and Friday. Of course, I always say I try to do 3 shows a week, but sometimes I fall short. But for right now, that's the plan. So stay tuned for more shows this week, hopefully. And boy, do we got a doozy for you today. But first, I got some stuff I want to go through. This morning, the Oscar nominations were announced. I'm a big Oscar guy. I love watching the Oscars. I'm a big movie guy, too. The last couple of years, I've gone, and once they release the nominees for Best Picture, any movies that I haven't already seen, I try to go see. This year, there are 4 films in the Best Picture category that I have not seen. I'm planning on seeing 3 of them before Oscar night on March 4th. There's one I really have no interest in seeing, but one thing I was very surprised was that Get Out got a Best Picture nomination. I like that movie. I'm not a big horror suspense guy, but I liked Get Out. It was definitely entertaining, so I'm glad to see it got a sneak nomination in there. I don't think it has a snowball's chance in actually winning, but it's cool that it got nominated. Now, as for the movies that most of us watch, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Star Wars The Last Jedi got some visual nominations, and The Last Jedi also got some nominations for sound mixing and sound editing, which is cool. The really best one, though, was that Logan got a nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay. Logan, in my opinion, I think should have gotten maybe some acting nominations as well for Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, but it was a long shot. It didn't happen, but hey, at least they've got something on there besides visual effects and the technical awards, which is what a lot of comic book and fantasy movies just usually get. So it's nice to see that it's getting recognized for something besides the ordinary. Now, this is the part where I tell you my funny story. This morning, I had to take my car in to the auto shop to do its state inspection. And I'm sitting there with my tablet reading X-Men. And on the radio, it must have been like a country music station or something, they're talking about Oscar nominations. And the DJs are talking about how the biggest movie of the year, Star Wars The Last Jedi, didn't get a Best Picture nomination. Now, first off, I'm like, okay, these people obviously have no idea how the Oscars work, because movies like The Last Jedi don't hardly ever get nominated for Best Picture. So obviously these are casual movie fans. They just don't know what they're talking about. So then they go and they talk about how the male DJ didn't like The Last Jedi because it was so different from the other Star Wars movies. And now I'm thinking, okay, this guy is a casual movie fan. He doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to Star Wars. Then they get this guy on the radio who, by the way, total hick voice. Of course, they had to get that little, typical stereotype in there. And he's talking about, well, so it was after Disney bought it, so, and then at this point, I'm like, oh my God, I almost was tempted to call into this radio station and just try to set these people straight about what they were talking about. And then he mentioned about how, Disney bought them, but he liked the last movie. People were bitching about The Force Awakens because it was too similar to A New Hope. Now they're bitching about The Last Jedi because it's so different from everything else. And then the other female DJ was talking about, well, let's not forget Jar Jar. And I'm like, thank you. Let's not forget, people, how much you bitched about the prequels, too. Get something different and you bitch about that, you can't win. You just can't win. But in any event, the Oscar nominations are out. Go check out the list. If you haven't seen any of the movies on the Best Picture list, 3 Billboards in Ebbing, Missouri seems to be the heavy favorite. Go check that one out. The Post, I really enjoyed as well. I haven't seen Dunkirk yet. I haven't seen Lady Bird, and I haven't seen Phantom Thread. That just came out, so I haven't seen that either. So those are the 3 I'm planning to see, and then it should fill out my Best Picture nominations. But go check out just a couple of movies. You may like them, you may not. The Shape of Water, people are asking if I recommend to go see it. I would say yes and no. It's Del Toro. I love me some Del Toro. There's a thing in this that I'm not really comfortable with. The film itself is great. Him getting Best Director nomination, it's a great film to watch. It's some of the story choices I guess I wasn't too down with, but in any event, it's, I guess, something you just need to find out for yourself. Go into the movie, keep an open mind, but have your own personal opinion, I guess is what I'm going to say. So check out some Oscar movies, guys. Get back to me. Let me know what you think. Okay, so to move on to the actual real part of the show today, I got 2 trailers I want to run down. One of them's a big one of them not so big, I guess, in my opinion. But in any event, we'll talk about those. You guys then fire back on the Facebook group, the Twitter account, and of course the Gmail account. Let me know what you think. So, starting off, we got a new mid-season trailer for Star Wars Rebels Season 4. That's right, guys. We only got a few episodes left in this Star Wars animated series, and it's going to kick off February 19th with 2 episodes, Jedi Knight and Doom. Then we move on the next week. We get 2 more episodes, Wolves at the Door and The World Between Worlds. And then we finish it all off on March 15th with the final 3 episodes, a 90-minute episode, A Fool's Hope, Family Reunion, and Farewell. So we pretty much got 3 nights left of Star Wars Rebels. This kind of makes me sad a little bit. As a guy who's watched this series from the beginning and is a big Star Wars fan, I'm a little sad that the show is ending. This last year I got to be almost front row at the Star Wars Rebels panel at Star Wars Celebration. It was awesome. Me and Lisa camped out, I think, at like 3 a.m. that morning. So we tried to get as close as we can in the panel, and we got like 7 or 8 rows back. It was really cool. So we both really love the show. It's the one show we really watched together. I'm kind of sad to see it go. But this trailer, a lot of it, about half of it or so, was review. And it focused on Ezra. Of course, Ezra is the main character of the series. There's no doubt about it. So this kind of reviewed Ezra's journey throughout the series and lets us know it's kind of end with Ezra's journey as well. The official synopsis for this trailer is, quote, "In this final season, the Ghost Crew joins the growing Rebel Alliance struggling to unite against the Galactic Empire. However, when the new Imperial threat arises on Lothal, Ezra leads the crew back to his homeworld to defeat the oppressive forces of the Empire under the command of the cunning Grand Admiral Thrawn. Old friends are reunited and new alliances are forged as the series builds to an epic conclusion." So some of the highlights in the trailers I'm going to go through real quick. If I miss anything that you thought was cool, fire back on the social media and Gmail accounts. Let me know what you thought too. So starting off, number one thing was the return of our old clone buddies, Wolf and Gregor. Now, we haven't seen them since Season 2. They were with Rex when Kanan and Ezra went to go pick him up for Ahsoka. Looks like they're in the fight. Don't know what their fates are going to be, but we know they don't really last till Return of the Jedi like Rex does. Speaking of which, you saw that quick shot of Rex in there wearing his Endor attire. That's right. The stuff he was wearing in Return of the Jedi, looks like he's wearing that in an episode or a scene in the upcoming Rebels episodes. So there's kind of a call or a little hint that, again, he will be alive through us all, and we'll get to the Battle of Endor. Although we never got confirmation that he actually makes it through the battle. But in any event, that's kind of a nice call to him right there. Another thing I thought was cool was the green owl. And this is something that drove fans crazy. People are thinking it means it's the return of Ahsoka. Now, at the Star Wars Celebration Rebels panel, Dave Filoni had a picture that said, "Ahsoka lives?" ? They showed the trailer for Season 4 Rebels, and when the lights came back up, that question mark was an exclamation point. Not a lot of people caught it. I caught it. My wife took a picture. My wife, who's a big Ahsoka fan, loved it. So people are assuming she's coming back for the end of this series. I honestly don't believe that. I think she's alive. I think we're going to see her in something else, maybe in the next project that Filoni has going on. But whether she pops up at the end of the series, I wouldn't be surprised if she does, but I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't. I think the owl is definitely a symbol for something. I'm not quite sure what. I think it's related to Ahsoka. And from the scene that Ezra was in, it's kind of a trippy, Force vision kind of thing going on. I think it's the one, A World Between Worlds episode is where we're going to see that. Also, of course, in that episode, it looks like we're going to get a reference to the Mortis episodes from the Clone Wars. That's probably what got me most excited about this trailer, was you saw on the wall the father, the son, and the daughter. And after I saw that, the next night, Lisa and I watched the Mortis trilogy from the Clone Wars episodes, because I didn't quite remember what happened at the end of those episodes. Everyone dies, but the father vanishes like Obi-Wan and Yoda vanishes, so maybe he's joined the Force, maybe he's going to speak to Ezra, I don't know. Another thing that happened in that episode was Anakin and the father worked together to transfer the daughter's life force to bring Ahsoka back to life. That kind of signifies, I think, in my mind, Ahsoka has some sort of connection to the daughter as well. Now bring in the owl, bring in the father, the son, daughter on the wall. Maybe that is leading to some kind of Ahsoka connection. I don't know, but I thought it was a cool reference back to the Clone Wars. Filoni has always said Rebels is very much a companion piece to the Clone Wars, and given the fact that I've watched both series, I really enjoyed the way he's crafted them together. I hope we get something really cool that references the Mortis episodes, but in any event, I gotta wait and see. I'm just really super excited to see how this thing's gonna end. Probably the most notable thing in the trailer is Kanan gets a haircut. He shaves off the beard, he cuts the hair, and he goes to rescue Hera. That was kind of the cliffhanger at the fall break for this season, is that Kanan tells everyone to go, but he's going to go back on a solo mission to go rescue Hera. He is stopped by the wolves, who seem to have some kind of connection to him, because when they talk, they say Doom, which is Kanan's actual last name, Caleb Doom. And given that one of the episodes is called Doom, I think we're going to get some more about Kanan in that episode, and I think the previous episode, Jedi Knight. Where Kanan's journey will end in the series, unfortunately, I think he's going down. We know Hera and Chopper make it out of this series okay. We don't know about the other 4 crew members of the Ghost, but I think if my number one pick to die would have to be Kanan. He's the master, he's the Jedi Knight, he's going to heroically sacrifice himself, I think, to save his friends and or Ezra. That's just his destiny, and I'm fine with it. With Kanan, you got Kanan the Last Padawan comic book miniseries. Then you got A New Dawn, which is kind of a prequel book to Star Wars Rebels, and then you have Rebels, which I really feel is the Kanan trilogy. And how that ends, I think it's not going to be good, but I definitely want to go back and read the Kanan Last Padawan comics within the next week or so before I prepare for Kanan's possible demise. And who is probably the best candidate, I feel like, going to give Kanan his noble end? Why, it's the Emperor himself. Big thing in this one was Ian McDiarmid, the guy who played Emperor Palpatine in the live-action series, is coming back to voice him for the Star Wars Rebels episodes. Normally, Sam Witwer has done the Emperor in the past and done a great job of it, but of course, who would be better than Sam Witwer? The Emperor himself, Ian McDiarmid. And in this one, it's interesting. He's come back, and it looks like he's looking for Ezra. He says, Ezra Bridger, mine at last. And it would totally make sense that he's come for Ezra. If you remember Palpatine in the original trilogy, he wanted to replace Vader with Luke. He wanted the ultimate apprentice with Anakin Skywalker. But after Anakin's disastrous results on Mustafar, he was never going to become as powerful as the Emperor wanted him to be. So Palpatine has been looking for another powerful Jedi apprentice. And who should pop up but Ezra Bridger, a powerful young Jedi. And I'm pretty sure the Emperor is definitely going to try to get Ezra on his side to be one of his pupils. I think Ezra is going to refuse. That may result in his and Kanan's death. I don't know. It's all really just up in the air, guys. I have no idea how this is all going to end. I love how this trailer ended, though, with Ezra saying, "One last lesson." And he ignites his lightsaber, and the wolves are behind him. And it's just, granted, half of this trailer was flashback stuff, but this really got us ready for the end. I think Dave Filoni is happy to give us this end because he never got us an end to the Clone Wars. They were still working on that show when they canceled it. With this, they've actually planned everything out. They know they were coming to an end from the beginning. He can give these characters the ending and the send-off they deserve. I have complete faith in Dave Filoni, and I am totally excited to see what else he does after Star Wars Rebels. But in any event, if you haven't watched Star Wars Rebels, what the hell's wrong with you? Go watch it, and don't talk to me until you do. Okay, guys, the last thing I want to talk about today is the second trailer for Tomb Raider has been released, starring Alicia Vikander. The film is directed by Roar Uthaug, a guy whose film I don't think I've ever seen, and opens March 16th. Also stars Dominic West as Lord Richard Croft, Walden Hoggins as Father Matthias Vogel, and Daniel Wu as Lu Ren. The official synopsis for the films is as such. Lara Croft is a fiercely independent daughter of an eccentric adventurer who vanishes when she was a teen. Now 21 without any real focus or purpose, Lara navigates the chaotic streets of trendy East London as a bike courier, barely making the rent. Determined to forge her own path, she refuses to take the reins of her father's global empire just as she rejects the idea that he's truly gone. Leaving everything she knows behind, Lara goes in search of her father's last known destination, a fabled tomb on a mystic island that might be somewhere off the coast of Japan. But her mission will not be easy. Just reaching the island will be extremely treacherous. Suddenly, the stakes couldn't be higher for Lara, who must learn to push herself beyond her limits as she journeys into the unknown. If she survives the perilous adventure, it could be the making of her earning the name Tomb Raider. So, to be honest, I don't think I've ever actually played a Tomb Raider game. This one is supposed to be based off the 2013 reboot, and Alicia Vikander is probably the only reason I have an interest in it. She's a great actress. I loved her in Man from U.N.C.L.E. She won the Oscar, I believe it was last year or the year before, for Best Supporting Actress. She's such a talent. I'm totally behind this, whatever she does, and I think she's going to be the reason this film is going to be so good. Of course, Angelina Jolie did 2 previous Tomb Raider films. The first one was okay. I did not like the second one. This one I think is going to be better than the others. I'm not familiar with the director or anything he's done, but like I said, the only reason I have faith in this film is because of Alicia Vikander and what she can do as an actress. In any event, I'm definitely going to go check this out because if nothing, it looks really fun, something that's really cool, and like I said, Vikander I think is going to crush it. The premise of it sounds good too, so a lot of people are complaining that it is kind of an origin story. I'm sorry, but you need an origin story. For people who aren't familiar with this property, who haven't played the game, an origin story is where you start. Much like any superhero or adventurer, you got to start at the bottom and work the hero up to earn the audience's respect. I think this film will do that. I think Vikander will do that. And I'm really excited for it. So you guys fire back. Let me know. Are you excited to see this film? I am. It does open the day before St. Patrick's Day. I'm taking the weekend off. So it looks like on the 18th, I'm going to have my hangover movie to watch. But in any event, that's it, guys. That's all I got. Time for you to fire back. Let me know. Did you see the Star Wars Rebels finale? Do you watch Star Wars Rebels? Let me know what you think about the finale trailer. Let me know what you think about the Tomb Raider trailer. And I will be back hopefully Thursday, guys, with another show. There's supposed to be another Pacific Rim Uprising trailer that drops tomorrow. And rumor has it we might actually get a solo trailer this week, although that was rumored last week as well. But if it does pop up, you can be sure I'll talk about that in the shows to come. Fire back, guys. Let me know what you think about stuff we talked about. DayspringDiscussions@gmail.com, the Facebook group, Twitter account, and you can find me personally, Slim Dayspring12, on Twitter and Instagram. And that's it, guys. Until next time, may the Force be with us all.